Alright guys, believe it or not, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about estimating a paint job in less than 5 minutes. So let's jump into it. First thing you need to do is go out and measure the project. For like wall area, siding, stuff you're going to spray or roll, you need to measure it in square footage. For trim and stuff, you're going to measure it in linear footage. And then some things that are very similar, like doors, windows, shutters, you're going to count those and figure out how many of those there are. And you're going to use standards, which is going to be like, wall area, and you're going to figure out how much can you do of this in 1 hour. And then you're also going to figure out how much can you do of this for 1 gallon of paint. And you're going to put that in a spreadsheet like Excel or Google Sheets. That's going to be your standards. Like my video, send me an email. I'll send you my standards. I have 141 of them, and they're for interior and exterior. So after you're done measuring, you're going to figure out how many total hours that is. Or you could be really smart and just put in the measurements, let that spreadsheet do all the calculations for you, and just spit out a price. It's going to spit out a price based on what I'm going to show you here, but again, if you like my video and share it, I'll send you my spreadsheet that just spits out a price, and all you got to do is take the measurements. You can change things like your wage rate, your material rate, that sort of thing, but let's get back to the topic here. So you figure out how many total hours it is, and you're also going to figure out how many gallons of paint you're going to need. You're going to multiply your hours by your wage. I would include payroll burden, workers' comp, anything that's associated with the wage. Your number of gallons is going to be by the price of gallons. And make sure you include tax, recycling fees, and always err on the high side. Alright, so now you're going to have your labor and materials, okay? So labor and materials, it's a true statement that is a percentage of the actual full job. So if you were to take the labor and materials and divide it by the price of the job, that's going to equal a percentage. That's just a fact. That's math. Okay, this divided by your price equals a percentage. So now, if we do a little bit of algebra and we want to get rid of this p or get it on the other side, if you multiply both sides by the p, it gets rid of the p there for you. All right, now we're trying to solve what is the price. So we want to get this by itself. So we're going to actually divide both sides by that percentage there, and that's going to get rid of the percentage over here. It's going to leave you with p here. So now we have the equation labor and materials divided by the percentage that labor and materials is supposed to be of the job actually equals your job size or your price. That's how you're going to figure out the price. So now you're like, okay, well, what is this percentage? What is the percentage of labor and materials? So if we take your expenses, which is everything on the job, if you got to pay a salesperson, if you got to pay for business cards, if you got to pay for an office, if you got to pay for vehicles, literally everything you could think of, that's all your expenses. Subtract your labor and materials, which is also expenses. And that's going to leave you with all of your other expenses. We're going to call that overhead. All right. For this video, we're just going to say it's 20%. Could be 20, could be 30. For this video, we're going to say 20. There's one more thing you got to take into account, and that's profit, the most important thing with any business. And we're also just going to say that's 20% to keep it simple for this video. So 20 plus 20 equals 40. Okay, you got 100% is what you start with. Can't have more than 100%. And 100 minus 40, that's 60. So this 60, that is what your labor and materials is, because it has to be, just mathematically. So if you take your labor and materials, divide it by 0.6, that's going to equal the price you should be charging. You want to make more profit? Okay, bump that up to 30%. Now, all of a sudden this becomes 50, this becomes a 5. There you go, you're making 30% profit just by estimating properly. The key here is, yeah, you want to make 99.999% profit. Everyone does. But if you're charging $1 million for a paint job, you have to be pretty darn good at sales to be able to sell that, and I don't know if you're going to be able to build enough value. Can you be twice as much as the average going rate in your area? Absolutely, if you can develop enough value. But overhead, if you end up having a huge business and your overhead's way more than 20%, just plug it into the equation. That's why this method and this model is really good, because it allows you to make adjustments easily. Your paint supplier calls, says, hey, prices are going up. Cool, that Excel sheet has all your standards in there. All you're changing is the price, and all the other math comes out and gives you the price. Your painter's doing great. You want to give him a raise, just increase that wage. All the other formulas come out. That's why this is one of the best models.